dominating today, had a frustrating last map, but likely passed our threshold at this point, currently in 5th place. Watch out for that SGP Syndicate squad. They have been Reapers on the map. Speaking of some math here, Shift, something else to keep in mind, high risk, high reward, certainly valuable, but big question mark is, if somebody can wipe some of the top teams early, the top slaying teams, that means there's more points to go around for a team like Aula.
And that's the other part of it is, you know, we deal with kind of the opening of what today was with A versus B. Falcons were taking all the freaking points away. So there is this level of who can actually do almost the exact same thing, especially for those groups in C that are getting their first real taste of what the day has looked like to this point. So yeah, lots of interesting conversation points, but I think the biggest thing here, you got to keep your eyes on teams like Al-Ula, they're number 2 in purple, aydan's team number 7 in white, and Destroy's team still number 1 in red.
Yeah, Destroy has fallen early, but should be fine. We're going to hop on board with our last map. Winners, Team Onyx Ravens, had a 14-point game, not too shabby, but they need about like a 50-point win to even be in the conversation, to be making it to the finals. And right now they're frustratingly rather falling on the other side. I think that's almost a full team wipe. Speaking of a full team wipe, 1 goes down, 6 gets taken out, but Squad 10 fully eliminated already. We told you it was going to be hot. We told you teams were going to rotate together. That squad is out of here. I believe that is our Heretic squad, who had a great last map.
And not just a great last map, they had a great day yesterday. They were one of our most consistent squads in terms of all the individuals participating evenly, and also just finding consistent results and overall placement. So definitely a bit odd to see them fall early, as Al-Ula is also in a bit of trouble here fighting up against Intex and Co.
Yeah, this is trades back and forth, both teams suffering some losses, but now Tommy all on his last legs. He has to win this, gets believe, cuts him down. Dongy not going to make the aggressive play to try to take out Tommy. That could have been all she wrote for Aula, not only here in this map, but in the entirety of this competition. Jukies gets taken out by Dongy immediately on the regain. This Aula squad, we've got to keep our eyes on them. They are in a frustrating spot right now on the map. They need a win, and they need it with a ton of points.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, you know, they have been in this weird position of some players staying alive, scrambling just to keep them in the game, but they need to stay in strong fighting form from start to finish. They need to reap in the beginning, and they need to find a really tall placement. So that's something to keep our eye on. Over towards one of our very safe teams at the moment, Team ABWiz. They have looked unbelievable. ABWiz in particular, he's been a great lockdown anchor for the squad, and Oki and Prodigy are 2 of our top 3 overall slayers so far, especially after day number 1, and they did prove it that, yep, we are still carrying that into today.
Well, Navi slaying off screen. Prodigy on your screen currently, rotating slowly. Dongy in trouble. 4NJs, Cloud9, they need a big one. They've got a couple more that they can play, but even still, the first map did not go their way. This team could not get stabilized. They could not regain. They could not play together. Yep. And frankly, it was Joe and 4NJs that were constantly in the regain blender. So they're hunting down Intex. They need to take out a top slaying squad so they have more room to work with. They need this side of the map all to themselves. And it's the overreach, the oversight here from Breadman that is giving them the information to hunt down this team.
And the thing about it for Cloud9 is, like you mentioned, you're pulling up against one of the most consistent squads right now in SGP Syndicate. Do you really want to try to force them out? Because Dongy and Believe have been the dynamic duo for this SGP squad, but 4NJ's good timing comes up, takes care of Believe. Dongy's in the mix though, careful. Syndicate in a little bit of trouble. Dongy able to find 1, but no chance of turning that into a second, and a much better start to the day for 4NJ since he's already on 4.
I think he has more kills now than he had the entirety of the day yesterday.
I think so.
So far, so good. In this map, watch out for Cloud9. You said they were going to make a move. The question is, how long will it take them? As we swing over to the other side, Bagel being cut down by Zix, another team that needs a sizable amount of points. You can see off the left-hand side of your screen as we fly in from Stukex, Omit. Watch out for that Omit squad. They like playing center of zone, they like hanging out, and they need kills, but they've been doing about average across the day. They need to continue that average and have one bigger map in the next couple.
Yeah, BSL also on 77 points, so they're also desperately in the need for a big kill, high placement game if they want to try to make it to tomorrow. The other team that, again, we spent a lot of time talking about in the pre-show, but you throw away one of Amit's bad maps from yesterday, they are unbelievably consistent across the board. Lots of top 8 finishes for them, as we do have another team already done and dusted. It's Vision. So, you know, a team from Group C, pardon me, that really has not necessarily had the greatest day. They did have 1 win yesterday, but their first 2 drops have not gone well for them today.
This team, Onyx Ravens, they need a big one. Frankly, anybody in Group A needs a massive game. Onyx Ravens down way down the leaderboard, won the last map. Could be the second team to win 2 maps in a row. So far, we've had 3 map winners, and they've all been birds. We've had Falcons, we've had Ravens. Let's see if maybe the birds will continue to soar above the competition, hopefully this time with a few more points. And look, a big question mark, Destroy's team, this one, they're right on the margin. They're right on the fringe. They need like a 10-point game to make sure they're above that 100-point threshold.
And look who they're near. Team aydan, who also is in the same boat where they're so close, but still needing a little bit of work to be done. So if they find a way to battle early here, that may throw a team completely out of the running as, again, lots of early action means we got so many things to look over the top of as Destroy Squad is in a little bit of trouble here. You see him in the kill feed falling, but down towards the bottom side of the map, Zik's team looking to possibly farm on that Onyx Ravens after their win.
There's the back and forth we were talking about. aydan, Omit, striking each other. Destroy in the mix as well. Right around the corner, slowly but surely working their way through. We're going to take a quick look back at Cloud9. They needed a big one, and so far, so good. It's about high time for the kid 4NJace. We've been telling you, Shift, that this guy's a slayer, and he has not proved it. But this game looking really strong. Hopefully they can continue that efficacy forward as Brett does pick up Dongy, by the way, with a headshot. So Brett connecting on some of those snipes that we promised.
And speaking of Cloud9, Jace is also in trouble here. Team aydan has done well. Team Destroy, like you mentioned, we're kind of pushed off this angle on the interior of prison. Team aydan went pretty much unchecked, unguarded. Cloud9 stumble their way in and find themselves a very healthy team that punished them completely. Breadman from the windows, though, of course, he's over by Water Tower. He's looking to finish off any potential kills, and he has gotten at least information that aydan's team's nearby. He's got a really good look at team number 2, which is Al-Ula, and on top of that, of course, he's also kind of gatekeeping where SGP was with that finish he just found.
Yeah, Brett, I think, is going to make sure that he doesn't get dropped on. I think he was looking up to the skies to make sure as he reloaded. Smart move. A lot of players do like to drop onto the water tower, and Rodrigo cleans up Joe. Doesn't look like he has any chance to help, so now it's all up to Breadman to just sit and wait and be the anchor they need him to be. Look, kills, they will come. You've got to stay alive. You can see the timers in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, 15 seconds, 20 seconds and counting. Brett is going to hang out here for a while.
Careful.
He cannot fall. Now, if you do damage, you take out an opponent, that's going to decrease those timers. So it's a little bit of yin and yang. Maybe go for some kills, but make sure you stay alive. We're going to swing back down to Navi, though. They've been dominating today with positioning, looking for a couple more kills.
Center circle focus has been pretty much the name of the game for teams like Fnatic, Navi, and well, they're trying to continue that once again, but we do have another elimination. BSL down and out. That may be the end of their tournament. They only finish on 7 total kills by my tally, which is not going to be enough for them to get to that round 100-point threshold. So not good news for BSL. And now you maybe get a little bit of maybe favor for teams like Al-Ula to possibly continue forward, get high placements, but they still need a lot of kills.
Yeah, so much math we can talk about, but for the viewers at home, you got to remember, this is the last game for Group A. So if you fall here and you're below about 100 points, there's no chance.
Whoa.
Speaking of falling, Oki down, Prodigy down, Abwiz the only one left alive, flying back in. That team is now in a blender. They've had a great tournament thus far. They're going to try to restabilize and continue to make some moves up the leaderboard. This is group stages, folks. Top 14, all that matters. And Elo doing everything in his power to keep himself alive, keep his team in the mix. They're so close. They need a big game. And barely, just barely one of them gets out as Abwiz fully eliminated.
Dude, how about this Onyx Raven team today? They continue to put themselves not just in comfortable spots off drop, but they're finessing around a lot of these team fights to get a couple of picks and stay healthy. They've maybe had one player on a stagger the entirety of the way through these last 2 drops, so they're doing really nicely. And now we look back over towards what Twisted Minds are doing as they're stumbling right over towards where Team aydan is.
Twisted Minds is their last map as well, part of that Group A thing. And well, we got Joe right in front of us, and smokes galore, doesn't matter. How about I just barrel stuff you and take you down? Joe back to the air he goes. We are running out of daylight on our zone. We've got Bread with tons of damage. As a quick reminder, by the way, we are missing 5 squads. You know who we missed? Destroy is out. I don't know how many points they've done. I don't know how many points they have. They might be our threshold team. They are right at 100.2 points from what we've done here in the booth. That is a wild stat. Watch out. They could be 14th place at the end of today.
That also means that Team aydan gets a little bit more breathing room as they have also dropped, but they dropped 11 kills before being finished off. So that's going to be a good tally for them as we're down to our final 8. So here's our next multiplier. Cloud9 back into the mix. Couple of plates to be shared between players, but Breadman needs to get active. And like we said, he's got nearly 5K damage. He's only been able to secure 2 downs because flat out he hasn't been allowed to play because Jace and Joe have been on the stagger throughout the entirety of this first part of the map.
8 teams remaining, and this is where the map slows just for a moment. You can breathe. You have to breathe because gameplay is so important. If you lose a player, they're not coming back. You've got to earn your place into the final spot here into grand finals tomorrow. Juki's able to answer back on a trade, losing Tommy Aula. They must win, and they must win in incredible fashion. Need around 50 some odd points if they can. Seemingly in a bit of trouble as Juki's does continue to rain terror on this Emit squad off screen, and Na'Vi sits patiently waiting for any enemy to come their way, frankly waiting for that multiplier.
Yeah, honestly speaking, this should turn into an Alula storyline pretty much from here on out. They're sitting on 8 kills. A stagger comes back in. Tommy's going to get back into the mix. Smoke will start to push teams towards their direction. This could get really hairy, especially if Alula gets seen first, which Foreign Jace has gotten some damage. He wants to chase.
He wants to chase. He's on 5. He had 4 in the first circle, and well, this is a ridiculous push by Lennon. I don't know what he thought was going to happen. Here comes the third party. Juki's in trouble. Juki's is able to take down Jowo, so at least gets one. It's going to be on the back of Juki's and Tommy we go. The old guard trying to maintain position at the top, but they are so close to being relegated, so close to not making it to grand finals tomorrow, and somehow hanging on by a thread, both Cloud9 and Aula.
Yeah, and Cloud9 are in a position to where their kills aren't necessarily great, so now you're just trying to stake together a couple of points wherever you possibly can. This is all about how long can you exist if you're Jace. But the hardest team to deal with right now seems to be Na freaking B. 16 kills. They're already controlling over towards ship. A couple players still remain to allow them to get in towards this docks position, but Aula and Tommy with the high ground could potentially rain some damage from above.
This is a huge take. This is Zix down below. This is one of the teams that could potentially gatekeep this Aula squad. Again, they've got a couple kills. It looks like Juki's is on 4 and finds Mood from behind. Great footsteps, hearing. Swings over to Tommy. Tommy's able to answer back. This should be an easy trade, no problem. Juki's, though, getting traded out by Crims. Here comes Zix. Zix is about to play Ruiner. Zix is about to play Spoiler. Zix cuts down that Aula squad. They will not be moving on to grand finals if our math is correct. There is a lot more gameplay to be had, and they are below that 100-point threshold.
And they didn't finish top 5. It was Onyx Ravens that got finished off before we got to this Final Four. Dongy up top, SGP with 3 members strong, but not with a lot of plates. And all of a sudden, who is it? It's Twisted Minds again. These guys were either red hot yesterday or ice cold. They find themselves in the red hot form early.
We have 3 teams remaining, and Zix and Crims have hung on after being pushed by team after team. They need top 2. They are in 3rd right now. 3 teams remaining and in trouble. They're going to PDS here, but look at Na'Vi. They're on the rotation. That's team 8. They are moving to the zone, and they're moving early. This is what this team does. They have the highest average placement of any team. Zix catches him in rotation, saw the light, and said, I'll at least take out 1. Final 2. We've got Na'Vi versus Twisted Minds. We've got 2nd place versus 3rd place. These are our top teams for a reason. The only team we're missing is the Falcons, and Twisted Minds says, don't worry, we're going to be at the top. What a way to finish game number 4. Wow, Twisted Minds dominating. Twisted Minds at the top. Knight, that X Factor we were expecting.
The Twisted Minds is unbelievable, bro. They had 1 bad map yesterday. 1. They finished 11th, and they still put together like 10 kills. So these guys are doing it all, and they're doing it all very, very well. It's one of those things that, you know, especially as we kind of look towards our favorites, just to keep the conversation, not just focus on the bubble, but the teams that are looking like heavy-handed, possible strongest teams out there. Falcons, of course, in top of our minds, but